When you're a Mandalorian bounty hunter on the run from both the Empire and bounty hunters, and you have a 50-year-old baby Yoda in tow, who's not really Yoda but a member of Yoda's species, then you just might need some sanctuary. I'm John Berry, and welcome to my review of The Mandalorian Chapter 4, Sanctuary. So, kind of in summary, during this episode, The Mandalorian seeks sanctuary on a backwater planet to avoid the people who will be hunting him and Baby Yoda. On that planet, he meets Gina Carano's character, Cara Dune. I hope I pronounced both those names correctly. And also on that planet, he's approached by a farming village for protection. The village wants to get him to help protect their village from some marauders. And of course, part of they really don't have enough credit to cover the cost. And even if he did, I don't think he would have taken it until he heard that the village was very isolated. Because basically, more than anything, he wanted basically shelter and housing for himself and Baby Yoda. Which he also extends to Cara Dune. Which I thought was kind of interesting, but they're both kind of in a similar position. They're both on the run. And that actually kind of surprised me about Cara Dune. I did not expect her character, the character, not her character, because the actor is Gina Carano. But I did not expect the character Cara Dune to also be on the run. It kind of sounds to me that she deserted the New Republic army, because she's a former rebel shock trooper. But it sounds like she's deserted the army and now there's a bounty on her. Or she thinks there could be a bounty on her. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Sounds like maybe the New Republic's relationship with bounty hunters is as different as it was in Legends. But that's for a future topic, because we only get impressions about that here. So they do defend the village against these raiders, who happen to have an AT-ST. And man, how they shoot that AT-ST, well, not how they shoot the ST down, but how they shoot it on camera. So the cinematography of the AT-ST, the lighting, is probably one of the best scenes so far. And nearly all of these scenes are excellent to begin with throughout the series. But the scenes with the AT-ST I think are the best. First of all, the AT-ST is not in pristine condition. So I think that's something to take note of. But more than anything are the windows into the cab. Because the cab is lit with red light. So the AT-ST looks like this beast with glowing red eyes. And this is shot at nighttime. So just put that together and it makes the AT-ST look threatening. Like, well, we haven't really seen before in any other things. Sure, maybe the first appearance of an AT-ST might have been threatening, but it wasn't. Actually, Empire Strikes Back, there's a few scenes where you can spot them on Hoth. Not that's threatening because of side views. But this made it actually look truly threatening. And I really like it when something that maybe looked threatening when it first came out but no longer looked threatening gets a new treatment to make it threatening, which I really, really love. Kind of why I like the ending on Fallen Order so much too, probably. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. Keep an eye out for it. So, they do defeat the AT-ST and the Raiders. And they do it by training the villagers to help defend themselves. Kind of remind me of an episode of the Clone Wars as well, where some Felucian farmers hire some bounty hunters to protect them from pirates. And then the Jedi come along and convince the bounty hunters to help train the farmers. Remind me of that episode in some regards, though. Very different, I would say, in this episode, because it's a whole different premise and setup for all of that. But yes, they do defeat the Raiders when they destroy the AT-ST, which is the Raiders' biggest, asset on hand that they have. At first I thought could there have been some connection to the Empire, because when Cara Dune and the Mandalorian go into the camp to basically draw the Raiders out, they go into the room where obviously the the Raiders' alcoholic beverage form is being brewed. For some reason my mind thought, could those be cloning chambers? But no, my mind was just being stupid there. It's like, oh wait, That's just still beverages, not cloning chambers. Yeah, I obviously missed the ball on that scene. I was like, wait, no. Oh, wait, yeah. My mind was not working when I saw that scene at first, for some odd reason. But yeah, so they draw them out and all that. And actually, one of the villagers actually is a pretty good shot to begin with, unlike all the other villagers. So that makes me wonder, could she have some kind of past that we are unaware of? I'm just saying, because somebody who's never, who, as far as we know, has never had a blaster before being such an excellent shot, speaks to me that that person might have had some training. That's the villager that we probably see the most. I forget her name, but the Mandalorian stays in her barn, because that's basically where there's room for him to shelter. And of course, Baby Yoda's also there too. And actually, there's a fair amount of scenes just dedicated to the Mandalorian interacting with the villagers. And this episode actually gets the closest to the Mandalorian taking his helmet off. Well, he actually does take it off, but in privacy of the barn. So I do wonder, if one of the village kids looked up, they would have been able to see the Mandalorian without his helmet. Which I thought was kind of interesting. But we learned that the Mandalorian has not taken his helmet off in the presence of others since he was a kid. So about the age of the village kids is what he said. Which I thought definitely tells you a lot, and we learned that the Mandalorians took him in after his parents were killed. Which I think most of us already figured. But we do learn that, yes, they do take the helmets off. Just not in the presence of others. And apparently the tribe of Mandalorians he's with, and once they take the helmet off in the presence of others, they can't put it back on. So we learn that. Granted, this contradicts a lot with what we saw in the Clone Wars and Rebels, but again, I use the word tribe, not clan, not house. I really don't know how the Mandalorian society is now structured, but it seems like it's more tribal rather than clan or house-based, since whatever happened to them during the rule of the Empire. Something happened which we still don't know to Mandalorians as a whole. Just some kind of purge. And it sounds like to me they've become more tribal-based rather than clan or house-based. I don't know. This is just some random thoughts that popped into my head with regards to the lines about the Mandalorian's helmet and all of that. But yes, the Mandalorians do take the helmet off in private. And apparently when they do in public, they can't put the helmet back on. Which again contradicts what we saw in the Clone Wars, but again, I'm thinking there's more tribal distinctions between different groups of Mandalorians. They've become more reactionary in the culture, adopted more traditional practices in order to preserve what makes Mandalorians Mandalorian. So we do have that. And let's remember, Dave Filoni is working on this series as well. And he did a lot to establish the Mandalorians in the Clone Wars and in Rebels. So he knows that there's a difference. He knows. And I have a feeling we probably will at some point get information on why. Maybe not in this season, but maybe in others. So probably should talk about the end of the episode. It is safe to say that the Mandalorian, he doesn't remain in the village. What prompts him to actually leave was the appearance of a bounty hunter who was tracking Baby Yoda. Cara Dune and the Mandalorian wonder could they have been tracking one of them, but no, it was Baby Yoda. Because before that, the Mandalorian was kind of planning on leaving so that way he wouldn't draw attention to the village, but leaving Baby Yoda there because Baby Yoda seemed happy there, and I have to agree based off of all the scenes. There's one scene in particular with Baby Yoda that shows him basically interacting with the village kids and shows basically him being happy there. There's a number of scenes, but the one I would like to point out is basically paralleling the scene from the second episode where he eats a frog-like amphibian. He nearly does it again, but he doesn't. And it sounds like he doesn't eat it because the kids of the village are like, ugh! How you expect kids to react when somebody eats a live amphibian or fish or foam, like they kind of gross out. But it was just done so nice, and I really did thought that showed in the other scenes as well how Baby Yoda was happy there. And so the Mandalorian had considered leaving Baby Yoda there with the village as he, went somewhere else so that way he wouldn't draw attention. But when it was found that the Baby Yoda was still being tracked, the Mandalorian knew he couldn't leave Baby Yoda there. So it seems like Cara Dune might be staying in the village for a bit longer. I don't know. I have a feeling she's probably going to pop up at least once more. The only really major female character that gets a co-starring billing probably going to show up again. And there's this line that they do expect to run, sound like they wouldn't mind the Mandalorian and Cara Dune are somewhat expecting to run into each other again. I can't remember the line precisely, but it's kind of the idea that they would not object to, working together on something in the future. So there's definitely that idea that, yeah, the two characters could interact again. So yeah, the Mandalorian leaves the village, and it's kind of really portrayed somewhat as bittersweet, especially for the villagers. The one character, the main village character that we get to interact with, I forget her name, Omora, something along that. I think I mentioned earlier that she's the one who owns the barn that the Mandalorian was residing in while he was there. And her daughter actually became kind of attached to Baby Yoda and hugs him at the end, right before Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian leave, which it was just a heartwarming scene and kind of bittersweet. Because all these actors got guest starring billing, which means they're not likely to appear again. Just something to throw out there for your consideration. But there's one scene between the Mandalorian and that character, as I said, I think her name's Omora, is where she nearly does take the Mandalorian's helmet off right before that bounty hunter appears. But before the bounty hunter appears, the Mandalorian stops her. But it's definitely, they've connected in some way that I don't think we've seen the Mandalorian connect before. It was to her that the Mandalorian told her that what happens if he does take off his helmet. And she's also the one villager who was an excellent shot. That the only one who admitted that knew how to fire a blaster, which makes me think she wasn't always a part of that village. Like she's had some kind of blaster training before, or at least has used one before. There's something about her past that just makes me wonder, and I wouldn't mind seeing her character pop up again. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Thank you for watching my review of The Mandalorian Chapter 4. If you enjoyed this review, please leave a like or dislike it if you didn't like it. Also, let me know what you thought of the episode and my review in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on my future Mandalorian reviews. Ring the bell if you want to be notified as well. You can check out my social medias or support me on Patreon. Links for all that stuff is in the descriptions, including my Discord server and my website. So that's all I have for you today, besides thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.